unwritten, unwritten, blank, dark and formless, void, stillness, quiet, unwritten, all possibility, infinite potential. Open up the dirty window and let the light shine in. We have been taking part in a series called The Basic Toolkit for Living, and we have been looking at the basic unity principles, the things that help us to create a more vibrant, important, meaningful, and dynamic life, to take us from unnecessary suffering into the place of creative possibility. And today, we look firmly right at the creative process itself. How do we create a magnificent life? How do we create a life filled with potential? How do we create a life that has meaning? Right now, as we stand in front of this blank page before us, this could be the best day of your life. This could be the most important day you have ever lived. And it is up to you to pick up that pen. It is up to you to open that dirty window and to write out what it is. Forge a life magnificent. Nothing can stand in your way. No one, no place, no thing, except your thoughts. Except your own blockages. And that's what we've been studying for the last weeks. The creative process is laid out for us. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, laid it out in his book, Mysteries of Genesis, where he takes the first chapter of Genesis and applies our metaphysical understanding to what the creative process is. How do we go about creating our lives magnificent? And there are many, many ways that we look at this. The first one is that we all exist in divine mind. Right? That we are an idea in the mind of God. And that God is made up of divine ideas. God is just the realm of consciousness, of understanding. So if we are an idea, think about this, in the mind of God, can we leave source? Can we ever be separate from this idea? From this divine idea that is God? If we are one with the one, if we are an idea in the mind of God, it takes away all need to worry. For we are constantly and completely held in this idea that we call life. And then that brings up a whole other concept. When we say here at Unity, when we say, well, it's all in divine order, we do not mean, let me be really clear, we do not mean that there's a being up in the sky directing, okay, you're going to have a fabulous life today, Ellen. Okay, you're going to go through some suffering today. No. There's no being up in the sky. There's only beingness itself. So divine order for a unity understanding, in a unity understanding, is a little different than you might hear in other places. Divine order for us is something called mind, idea, and expression. We call this our Trinity, the unity Trinity. So if everything is in mind, divine mind, all of a sudden there is an idea that pops up. And from this idea comes manifestation or expression. Physical forms are the results of tangible thoughts. Physical forms, results of tangible thoughts. When we are one with the divine idea and we think, it manifests in our material world. That concept, mind, idea of expression, is the basis for Unity's creation. But it goes a little bit like this. In the first book of Genesis, as I described, it was unwritten. Before the beginning, the earth was a dark and formless void. And the breeze blew over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light. Let there be light." That's an interesting statement, isn't it? Out of all the words that the author of Genesis could have chosen, he chose let. Let there be. Understanding from the perspective that if the divine idea of light already exists, all you have to do is allow it. It's not, there will be light. I command that there be light. Let's create light. It's let there be. As we step out of our own resistance, as we step out of our own thinking that it can't happen, we allow light to happen. And light, as Charles Fillmore tells us, is not the physical light that you would see from this candle, but it represents, in this instance, awakening, acknowledgement, understanding. So we have a moment where we are aware of the infinite possibilities that lie before us. Like Misa's amazing song, we became aware of there is something rising from that blank page. And there was something calling us to do something more than just sit here. We had moved physically, emotionally, mentally. We were all transformed. So light, let there be awareness. Let there be awakening. Let there be understanding in this moment of the infinite possibility that lies before us. And then God says, let there be faith. He says firmament, actually. But in Charles's understanding, he translates firmament. And in Genesis 1, it talks about God separating the waters of the earth from the waters of the sky. And the firmament is what keeps the waters from above the sky from the waters of the earth. And I thought about that, and that's a really interesting old idea that there's water above the sky. But in a metaphysical understanding, what it is creating a space. Creating a space of possibility. And when we let there be faith, we know, even if it's the size of a mustard seed, right? We know that if we create that much space, anything can happen in it. It can open and we can create something bigger, better, greater. So let there be faith is the second day of creation, or the second step of creation. The third step of creation is let there be imagination, ideas. Now that we have this space, now that we know that out of this nothingness, out of this void that lives before us, anything is possible, we start imagining what that might be. And we come up with specific ideas and inspirations for what it is exactly that we want to create. So the third step of the creative process is imagination, using that divine faculty that inspires so many. And the fourth step is will and understanding. It's not enough that you have an idea. Oh, how many of us have had ideas and then sat back down in the chair? Right? How many of us have had these great concepts that will set the world on fire, and a year later we watch someone else has already developed it, or developed it at the same time because we didn't take the step. The fourth step of creation is will. You must apply yourself in that day, and must apply your force to the activity. In the Bible, this is represented by the lights in the sky, both day and night. That's on the fourth day of creation. And the fifth step of creation is judgment. You say, well, wait, doesn't Jesus say, judge not, so that you not be judged? Judgment, in this instance, we're talking about is discernment. It's not condemnation. It's not thinking that I'm better than. Judgment in this understanding is to say, okay, this needs to be this needs to be over here, this needs to be exactly where it is. And using that discernment, we step into our fifth day of creation and our fifth step. The sixth is wisdom and love. And this is represented in Scripture, in the book of Genesis, by the creation of humans. In Genesis 1 it says, and then God created man and woman, male and female, in his image, or our image actually it says, and likeness. So he created them. Our image and likeness. And male and female, that understanding that there is both. There is balance. There is harmony and synergy in the creation, in the creative force itself. You can never make a painting without shadows and light, without positive and negative, without male and female. The absolute part of creation is balance of the whole, and it is necessary for all of us in every step. It's represented by Charles Fillmore as wisdom and love. That perfect balance of love and wisdom that keeps us in check, that keeps us perfectly aligned. And this is one of my favorites. It puts this last step, the seventh day, where God rests, a Sabbath. But as Charles Fillmore talks about the Sabbath, it's not physical rest, but it's going into the silence. It's going back to the beginning of the void, standing beneath and in front of the emptiness. And once again, resting in the knowing, in the nothingness, ceasing all activity, mental and physical. Because if we are an idea in the mind of God, Sabbath means ceasing ideas also. And this is a concept that's missed a lot when we say, well, I don't know how to meditate, my mind won't stop. Yes, that's true. But the idea of meditation is not getting an answer. The idea of meditation is getting to the place of nothingness, where there literally is no time and space. Nothing before us. Everything before us. That same place. So, as I was looking at these 7 steps, right? Light, faith, imagination, will and understanding, judgment, wisdom and love, and Sabbath. I was like, okay, so this is great, Charles. How does this apply? How does this apply in my life? How do I really do this? And this analogy came to me as I was sitting, and I was like, wait, but I've never done that. Why am I going to use this analogy? But it just kept coming and coming, it wouldn't go away. So I said, all right, I'm going to try it. How many people here have ever thrown a pot? You know, potter's wheel. Oh, a couple. Great. I've never. But that's the analogy that would not leave me. So I thought about it, and let there be light, right? In the moment before you were to go and throw a pot, or just form a pot, or do any kind of pottery, there's nothing. There's the absolute nothingness of it. But there's an awareness all of a sudden that you might want to do this, right? Just because it came like it came to me. Wouldn't that be really cool to throw a pot? And that's let there be awareness. Let there be light. When you go into the studio and you stand in front of this blank spinning wheel, right? The platform that you're going to spin this pot on and throw this pot on, it's empty. But you know there's this field of infinite possibility. And that's faith, right? That's faith. That's separating the waters and just creating this place where it can happen. And the third is imagination. And in the Bible, the day for imagination is when the land appears, right? When the waters of the earth are separated and the dry land appears. So in a potter's analogy, all of a sudden imagine that you put your clay on the table and ready to spin it. And the land appears, and in that moment, your imagination must kick in. This round or square or formless lump of clay now gets to become something with your imagination. You put your will to it, you paddle or turn on the electric table, and you start working the clay with your hands, and you're working it, and you're forcing it, and you're using it and learning how it moves. Will and understanding as you start to mold this into something. Then you use your judgment, you use your discernment and say, okay, this has to be a handle. If I'm going to make a pot, this is a handle, and this is the lid. This might be the foot and the base. And this is going to be how it's shaped and how deep it is. You use your power of discernment to see which clay will go where. Which clay is unnecessary and you take it away. Or does it need more water? You use that to form this whole beautiful pot. And then you apply wisdom and love. The male and the female in the image and likeness of the Creator. That pot has a positive and a negative space. It has a shape and a form. It has everything it needs. And it has your fingerprint on it. It is made literally in your image and likeness, and it is a reflection of you because the created can never leave the Creator. It is a full expression of you. The created can never leave the Creator. And then you have to bake it. You have to sit in the silence. And you have to set it. You have to set it so that it becomes solid and usable and practical and hands-on. The creative process is for each and every one of us to use all the time. Creation didn't happen 6 billion years ago. It didn't happen 6,000 years ago. It didn't happen yesterday. It's happening now. It's happening right here and right now as we constantly create our lives on that unwritten page and use these 7 steps to step forward and decide that today is my most magnificent day. That this is the most magnificent life I am creating. Right here and right now, throw a pot. Shape it, form it, choose what you want, how big you want it, what glaze you want it to have. Infuse it with everything you are. Your male and your female characteristics, your fingerprints, your blueprint, your identity. Feel that rain. That rain on your skin, the clay underneath your fingertips. As you settle into the Sabbath, into the silence, and create this most magnificent day. This is how we extend ourselves out into the world. This is how we transform the planet. This by transforming ourselves as we create in every day. We create every day. An idea. Physical forms are made up of thought forms. Divine ideas. You are a magnificent expression in the mind of God. And you are magnificently expressing. Let's take this to our personal Sabbath today. to our understanding of wisdom and love. And I've asked the choir and Michael to sing a special song for us. We used it once before, a couple weeks ago. But it has the lyrics of creation. We let the love wash over us. It's the lyrics. We let it be. And let is not a passive understanding. It is a vibrant and whole understanding of that we are getting out of the way to experience the magnificence of all of the divine ideas. Time of Sabbath, this time of nothingness, setting, baking, cementing all that we know. We let light, love, wisdom, understanding, faith. We let all of it be. We let go of it, having to hold. And we create by life. Imagine this dark and empty void. Imagine the stillness and the formless. Imagine nothing. Once again, we go to the blank page, the emptiness. And as we breathe, we go even deeper into the nothing. Let there be. 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 Let there be.